Welcome to Gotham, the Good and the Bad. Obviously, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the shows yet, don't keep watching, come back when you've seen them. But if you had, first, the good. Leslie Tompkins, can I get a hell yeah, bum chicka wow wow. Yeah! Gordon, finally moving on from Barbara to Leslie Tompkins. I love Leslie Tompkins. She is the kind of character that Barbara should be. You know, she's lovely. She's lovely. She's helpful. She doesn't get in his way. She's not a monkey on his back, but at the same time compassionate and courageous. See, that's what Barbara should be like. But instead, Leslie Tompkins is like that, and so great to see Gordon finally getting a decent chick. Unfortunately, we know he's going to end up with Barbara Keane because they gave her the same name as the comic book character that he ends up marrying, but I still think they should just do what I said in the previous video where he breaks up with Barbara and then later down the track he meets someone else who's also called Barbara and he's like, what a coincidence, and then she can become his wife, even though that Barbara wouldn't have the same last name as the character in the comics. But I think none of us would have a problem with that. I think we'd all be willing to overlook that because most reviews don't like the way Barbara's being portrayed. So I think that's one instance where the fans would unilaterally say that's okay and overlook it. But in the meantime, maybe they could do something like get Barbara to like hook up with Harvey Dent, you know, just to sort of keep her out of the way so that she doesn't interfere with Gordon or with the story. So at least give us till the end of the season with Leslie Tompkins before you bring Barbara back. Or better yet, don't bring her back. But anyway, Leslie Tompkins, great, love her character, want to see more of her. Another good thing is Butch. I really like Butch. Maybe because I remember him from The Marine, you know, the John Cena Commando ripoff. If you haven't seen it, it's probably worth having a look just to see what a 21st century version of Commando is. And to laugh at how ridiculous everything is in that movie. But the movie kind of knows that it's ridiculous at the same time, so that's kind of what makes it fun. It's a very good bro film, you know. Get a bunch of your mates together and crack a few beers and watch that. You'll have a great time. But the actor who plays Butch does have a few scenes early on in that movie, and he always kind of stood out to me, which is weird because he's not a big part in the film, but he stood out enough that I immediately recognized him in Gotham when the character of Butch showed up. And I always kind of liked Butch. And the episode that ends with him sort of telling that story to his friend about how he kept some of those steaks that they stole from a truck when they were kids, you know, before he shoots the guy, that really added like a whole lot of depth to his character. You know, it kind of shows why he's on Fish Mooney's crew, because he just wants to back what he thinks is the winning side, and loyalty is just completely irrelevant to him. He's just looking out for number one, very much like Fish Mooney herself is. And I just hope that he doesn't get killed anytime soon. Are you a fan of Butch? Let me know in the comments. Another good thing is that we finally got to see the moment where the penguin eats the fish. Take that, Fish Mooney! Penguin is smarter than you. He is smarter than you. Although I do hope that we get a bit more of that payoff in the next episode, because I was hoping for like a really big payoff, a penguin getting his revenge. You know, something like this.
No! McCarthy, you shan't!
The girls all know the score. No escape. No surrender. No mercy.
But there's still time we can get that. And that whole final scene there, Falcone choking the life out of his fake girlfriend. Ooh, Falcone, you dog! You know, no wonder he is running the mob. Don't mess with Falcone, bro. He's been playing this game for a long time, and he's survived a long time. You know, Fish Mooney keeps calling him the old man, but I guess in the mob, the fact that you can survive long enough to even be called an old man is reason not to mess with him. Falcone has all these schemers around him. Fish Mooney, Penguin, Maroney, everyone's scheming to bring him down, but he's still there. That definitely counts for something. Go Falcone. But now, the bad. Okay, this is a major problem that I've noticed in the show, because it's a problem that's becoming a pattern. And in my opinion, nothing can derail a TV show more than this. And that is any consequences to events or decisions characters make or dilemmas that they're being faced. Any consequences are fleeting at best. It really came to a head for me in the last episode where Gordon walks into the police station, has a quick conversation with the commissioner, and then boom, back to being a detective again. Serious? You know, we only get one episode of him being a guard at Arkham, and now everything's back to normal? That was the cliffhanger on which the mid-season break hung, and it's over in one episode? One episode! You know, they could have just cut that whole thing out and just have Gordon investigating what was happening in Arkham and meeting Leslie Tompkins that way, and it wouldn't have made a bit of difference. And you know, it's not the first time that the show has done something like this. Remember how the first half of the season was building up to the big moment where Bullock finds out that the Penguin is still alive, you know, and it was building up, and then it finally came to a head, and the next episode we have one awkward scene, and then boom! Completely forgotten. Everything's back to normal again. Remember when the whole police force walked out and abandoned Gordon to die when Victor Zsasz came in to kill him? And then next episode, one awkward scene, and boom! Everything's completely forgotten. All back to normal again. And now they've done it again with Gordon being a guard in Arkham. It was built up as some kind of devastating exile that the mayor was sending him to, an exile from which he may never return, when really he returned from it pretty easily. He just got leverage off one case and boom, he's back to being a detective. And that's another instance where they made this same mistake. The Electrocutioner. I thought he was going to be like the new bad guy, someone who is a personal threat to Gordon, because Penguin, Fish Mooney, Falcone, they're not personal threats to Gordon anymore. I mean, they're all busy doing their own stuff. So I figured that the Electrocutioner would be like a substitute Joker. He'd be like a discount Joker. Someone who Gordon could develop a rivalry with that would link into the whole conspiracy of what was going on in Arkham, which seems to have been forgotten about, and even link into the grander conspiracy of who killed the Waynes, the crime that Gordon swore to solve but now seems to have forgotten about. And through that battle between those two, it can all be uncovered and it can all come to this grand, epic season finale that will have us all on the edge of our seat. But nope, captured immediately in the next episode and everything goes back to normal again. Stop it! Do you see the problem here, Gotham? It's very hard to get invested in anything that happens in the show if you just keep hitting the reset button every 2 episodes. I mean, I understand that there's always going to be a need to restore the status quo to a certain extent, especially in a show like this where we know it's going to end up being like the comic book universe. But still, it feels like they're restoring the status quo too quickly and too often. And all of that just leaves like a huge question mark hanging over everything. Because as much as I love seeing Gordon move on to a new woman, based off this pattern, they'll probably only be together for 1 episode and then Barbara will show up again. And it's hard to be excited about that. You know, in Breaking Bad, they never hit the reset buttons. Characters make choices and the consequences of those choices ripple over for the rest of the show. And they affect everything from that point on. And that's what makes it such an interesting show, because you're on a journey with the characters. There's a whole look how far we've come kind of element to everything, whereas Gotham's journey just seems to be doubling back on itself over and over again. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the latest from Gotham, the good and the bad. I hope you enjoyed it. But before you go, did you guys know that Watch Mojo is putting together a list of the top 10 comic book YouTube channels for a video they're making? And I'm on the list. I'm about 24, I think. I'm way down the list. So please, 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 if you like my videos, could you go over there and could you vote for me on that list? Because if we could make it into the top 10 list, that would be phenomenal. I mean, I won't lie to you, this is a long shot because a lot of the top 10 in there are just massive, massive channels. So it's a long shot, but I think it's doable. As it stands now, we need about 300 votes to make it to the very bottom of the top 10 list. But I think we could do it, man. I think we could do it. We could make it. So please click on the link in the description. That will take you straight to that page, and you do have to log into that site before it will allow you to vote. And so it'll give you the option of either doing that through your Facebook account or through an email. And then you can vote and you can leave like reviews for some of the channels that are on there if you're so inclined. And of course, vote for any of the other channels that you like that you see on that list. If you could do that, I would be eternally grateful. So, I am Bandit, this is Bandit Incorporated, and until next time, I will see you guys in the comments.